Hey there, it's Holly. So I finally finished all the Ian Fleming run of James Bond books, and I wanted to rank them because why? It's fun. Um, if you follow my any of my socials, my Blue Sky, Threads, Insta, TikTok, I had posted a question like a couple days ago whether or not you guys would like to see a more off the cuff version where I'm just sort of looking at them and trying to just do it on top of my head, or a bit more thought out one. And the one person who responded said thought out. So thought out it is. When I say thought out, it's not going to be like detailed thought out, but at least more thought out. That said, before I uh, share presumably my controversial ranking, um, remember, please do me the huge favor of subscribing, leaving a like, leaving a comment of your own ranking if you have read the books, sharing this amongst your friends, enemies, neighbors, acquaintances, random folks. Let's begin. So, do 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 do. The pages refuse to page. All right. There are 14 books in total. So at number 14, we have For Your Eyes Only. So this one is ranks the lowest for me. It's a collection of short stories. But it just none of them really grabbed me that much ever. And um yeah, basically that's the biggest thing. This was a kind of struggle to get through, especially for some of them. It's just like, okay, like there needs to be a better hook. Like I don't mind starting like in the middle of an adventure, but this was too much of that. There is Fleming's uh, later short story collection does a way better job about this of just sort of kicking off, but it just doesn't. I don't know. Something that I just did not vibe with me. I just kind of found it like tedious in a little ways. I think the most interesting aspect was just looking at the titles of some of the stories, like For Your Eyes Only. What was some of the other? A View to Kill and Quantum of Solace, which have nothing to do with their movie namesakes. Um, For Your Eyes Only is like very loosely kind of with elements of said movie, but like very loosely. Um, anyway, that's number 14. 13, Spy Who Loved Me. So this was an interesting change for Fleming, where it's told from the perspective of just a random woman who's taking care of a motel for some people and who she just gets caught up in a Bond v gangster kind of thing. But it's the content that brings this down. Like, okay, there is like the first third is a little dull, especially in hindsight, because it is setting up the backstory of the woman and everything. But like, she's just a one-off character. Like, I don't mind that, but when a third kind of the book is a tribute to that, it just doesn't really feel like it goes anywhere. But the big issue I had with this is the treatment of said woman. The gangsters, one of the gangsters in particular, heavily like just pretty much still like said straight out that he's going to like assault her, not like mm, badly assault her. Um, and it hints that that probably happened. Like she gets knocked out, and she wakes up in the shower, like clothes torn and stuff. So like hints that that happened, which it's not great. It's not great when Bond does it. It's not great when it happens to him either. And it does. I'll get to that one, too. But the other issue, like that on its own is bad because like it's a bad guy doing it. Sure, whatever. They're evil. Fine. But The issue comes with a line where the girl's, buddy up to Bond, the woman's buddy up to Bond, she wants to sleep with Bond. Fair. Odd that she just had a traumatic event, but she wants to do that. Oh well, I'm not in charge of that. But the line she has is, and I hope this doesn't get me in trouble, but all women love semi R word. They love to be taken. It was his sweet brutality against my bruised body that made his act of love so piercingly wonderful. That bugs me. That really bugs me a lot. That is odd, gross, and weird. Now, the idea of like all women living there, that's its own thing. Now, that by the time I got to this one, it did feel like maybe Fleming or maybe even his wife had a like CNC kind of thing that they were into. So maybe he legitimately believed that. Either which way, like the line on its own, sure, that's his own thing. But the fact that it happened after it really happened to her is the issue, and that kind of soured my viewpoint on this. So this is 13. Technically, like my like disdain for it could make it 14, but 13 is fine because I do like the originality. 12, Thunderball. I am not a fan of really any version of Thunderballs. I did like Never Say Never Again a bit more because it's more silly and just like kind of better paced in a way. But this one is the weakest of the Blofeld trilogy, and Blofeld's barely even in it. Like it's a good introduction to Spectre, but it just is bogged down. Like it's, I mean, okay, 321 pages doesn't seem a lot, but when it's detail after detail after detail, chapters are spent on like how a guy, uh, like how they crash a plane, sink the plane, get the bomb out, do this. Like it's over much. Like this was supposed to be a script, and then it got turned into a book, and then turned back into a script. And you can tell, like, there's definitely some issues with even in the movies. This one's a rough one. It's just boring. Um, at least in this version, he's probably the best version of Largo, only because we get more with him. But even then, it's another. This is a common complaint I have with some of these, but it's yet another. Um, I'm doing this to get money for said group. Granted, in the past it was always Smersh, and now it's Spectre, so it's slightly different. But it's a recycling of pirate treasure and gold and stuff that Live and Let Die had, and even there's another one that dealt with it. I think. No, I think that was it actually. Yeah, Live and Let Die had that issue too. Um, Diamond somewhat, but not as much. At least pirate side. Um, I thought it was just a slog. And it didn't really help that I watched it after um, the movies, so it was already like geared up for it. But mm, pardon me, one sec. I need to plug this in so it doesn't die while I'm recording. Give me one sec. I am sorry. And we're back. Um, so that was number 12. And number 11. Ooh, I did switch it up from last time I did this. Okay, cool. So I truth be told, I did do a off the cuff one already, and I already had the books lined up the way they were, but my actual thought out one's different. So there we go. At number 11, Octopussy and the Living Daylights. This is his second and last short story collection. It's also the last book in the series. Um, I liked it. It was kind of a good like final little rest thing, but it's rather small. Sorry. And some of the stories don't really go anywhere. Like, not in terms of plot advancement, but they kind of just are like little short adventures. Like the titular Octopussy story, which I actually like this version a lot better than the movie, but it's described actually in the movie where Bond goes to this old World War II vet and says, "Hey, yeah, you stole some gold and you killed my friend. So I'm not going to do anything for you, but there's some guys coming to arrest you in a week, so just be aware of that." And the veteran gets himself killed via a scorpion fish. And the titular Octopussy is a pet octopus of his. That he calls it that, which I like a lot better than his daughter, which is in the movie. That one is just a little odd. But the movie also has the second story in this, being Property of a Lady. And if you remember the movie, that's the name of the Fabergé egg. So it's pretty much the same scene from the book in the movie, except in the book it's used more for like fleshing out a spy and like figuring out. I was like, oh, okay. When he if he goes back into the Soviet base or whatever, the embassy, we'll call it up and like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. He's person non grata. We found out who he is. He can't be used anymore. Um, but it's more tedious than in the movie. The cool one though was well, no, the coolest one's the ending, but it does really sound like I like this one a lot. But the other ones are just better. The Living Daylights short story is pretty much adapted beat for beat for the most part in its movie form as the post-title sequence opening where Dalton is having that little sniper battle with the woman to save the General Koskov. So that's pretty much the same, which is cool too. So this was like one of the times where like the short stories were adapted pretty much verbatim. Um, but the coolest part I like about this one, which ranks it above the others for me, is the last story, which is just Bond having a normal day in New York. Like, oh yeah, this is how I might have my breakfast. I'm just walking around, and it ends with him saying he's going to go to the zoo. I really like that. I like that, like kind of just chill day to like kind of final little bit where he's just, I'm just going to go to the zoo. I like that. Um, let's see. Hmm. It seems like the last ones tend to be my weakest, but Man with the Golden Gun. This one is interesting, in that there's bits I like from the movie a lot more, and bits I like from the book a lot more. And most of it has to do with Scaramanga. Um, Scaramanga's plan in this is to use connections with various criminal enterprises to take over a hotel and use that hotel not only to get money through gambling and just hotel stuff, but also as a front for getting like selling like marijuana to other countries and um, smuggling and stuff. It's a little convoluted, like just various money schemes, and then he like tries to cut them out and stuff. It doesn't either which version of Scaramanga's plans don't really work with the character, but I think this one's kind of a bit better. I like it better because it's a callback to other gangs, like oh, the purple gang's back, or the not the Spang brothers, but they are listed. No, I'm not gonna find it. Um, but it's another gang. It's not the Spangs, but it's one of the other gangs that appeared in Diamonds. No, did they appear in Diamonds? No, Goldfinger. They appeared in Goldfinger. But yeah, I like this version of Scaramanga better though, where he's they really play into the circus aspect of him. And like one of the bigger differences, and I think I mentioned this in the review itself, is that he, if you remember the movie, one part of his background is that like when he's talking to Bond, saying like, I love that elephant. But he went crazy, and I had to shoot him. And but I prefer shooting humans. In the book, he still loves the elephant. The elephant still goes crazy because he's high on testosterone and is having a woman and stuff like that. Blah 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 blah. But it's a cop who shoots the elephant, and he shoots the cop and goes on the run. I like that a bit better because it shows that he cares more for animals than humans without like, oh, I had to shoot the animal. And he's much more like pistol happy, like spinning the pistols and stuff in the book. Um, However, his death in the movie is better. Um, in that his base here is just a hotel, and so he gets all the gangsters and Bond because Bond's pretending to be a bodyguard for him onto a train. He's going to bring the train to another location in Jamaica. The train gets blown up via um, Felix Leiter. But so Scaramouche's all torn up and stuff, and he pretty much just says to Bond, like, "Hey, can I pray before I die?" He just tries to stab him. Bond just shoots him. And he's kind of like just beat up and stuff. I like in the movie where he's a bit more like, "I want to mess with you. I got this cool base. I just want to kill you because I like you. You got." I'm on it. Like you're the top dog for me. I like that. Um, but this does it just I don't know. It, it's low stakes, which I kind of like at times, but also it's too low, if that makes sense. It's hard. It's hard to explain. Um, but either way, that was number 10 for me. Number 9 may ruffle feathers. This one's where we get some issues. Goldfinger. Goldfinger is one that is much like Thunderball, affected by how I viewed the movie first. The movie I found okay. I don't think it reached the heights of like everyone said it was. And the book is a little bit better. The book is better. And it handles things certainly differently. But the biggest issue, really, other than like this is another one where his plan is to get money for Smersh and like bring the gold to them and stuff. Um, it's the Pussy Galore stuff. Granted, it's worked better in the book because they actually have a bit more scenes, a bit more dialogue, and stuff. You can tell there's like something there. And Bond's not right at first trying to seduce her. He's like, "Oh, okay, I'll get you." Like it's that classic, like you just haven't the right guy or whatever. But like it's handled better. Um, and then eventually they still do it, but it's near the end. It's not him throwing her into a hay bale, which is like one of my big issues with the movie. But I don't know. Something about it, it it's good and all, but it was another one that I felt like I just had to get through. Like once I start feeling like I just have to get through it, I kind of like start to be like, eh. But there are elements I do like. So it's not the worst, but it's not the best either. It's we're getting into the middle rankings where things are kind of like nebulous on where they're going to be. Um, at number 8, Doctor No. Doctor No is fine. It's a good, fun kind of like classic Bond villain thing. Another adventure with Felix. I always liked the Felix adventures. Um, Honey Rider. I think is treated better in this one. Um, she does have a similar issue with some of the other Bond girls, where like when she was a teen, she got assaulted by her landlord or something, and of course that affects her. But when she meets Bond, she's, I want to be with you. I want to be with you. I want to be with you at all times. Like she just wants him like constantly, and he's like pushing her away. It's very much like how without the age issue. It's very much like how the Ice Skater was with Roger Moore's Bond in For Your Eyes Only. um, where like he's saying, chill, not right now. Um, which, granted, I'm Aero Ace spec. I'm on the Ace spectrum, so that's kind of outside my realm of like knowledge. But I don't know, it just feels a lot. But I do like it. It's just, a good classic Bond story. I don't think it hits the heights as the movie. The movie does a lot better, but um, there is one scene in this, one scene that is amazing, and they kind of do it in the movie, but it's not as good. Um, where, if you remember the movie, it's like a spider that gets into Bond's room. It's a tarantula, and he has to try and kill it. The book version, which is a centipede, is so well done, so descriptive, so tense. Like out of all the Bond stories, out of all the little Bond bits and things, this was the most tense. Like the centipede scene in this is the most tense of any of the books. Um, and it works better. Like if you remember the movie, he throws up after killing the spider. But in this, it's because like he's just like frozen in fear for all of it. Like he just had to. That part like really jumped it up a lot for me. So if it was just that scene alone, that scene's way up there. But for now, it's number eight. Now, I dogged on the movie a lot, and you would think I wouldn't like the book as much. But Diamonds. Diamonds Are Forever is an interesting beast. Once again, it's in the middle zone for me, but getting a bit higher. The reason why it's higher than some of the others, especially if, I like the elements of Dr. No more, um, is that I actually really like how he depicts the American gangsters. I love when Bond goes to America because it's one partly him just hating America. The other part is like the gangsters are written like they're from noirs still, and I love noirs, so that part's really funny to me. Um, and yeah, I do like he has a connection with all the gangsters pretty much. Like he vibes with them. There's one gangster who's like kind of like hunchback and junk where he's like, yeah, this guy's chill. I like him. His relationship with uh, Tiffany Case in this is way better in this than in the book. Like it's one of those ones where like Tiffany could be like kind of on a lower level with like Tracy or Vesper kind of thing. Like it's that well done. I would say the thing that holds this back is the ending. The ending does go, for lack of a better term, off the rails because Bond and Tiffany are being chased by one of the Spang brothers in a train. Weirdly enough, the two times he deals with a lot of gangsters, three times actually, because I think there's a train in Goldfinger too. Yeah, he keeps dealing with trains. Does Fleming think that America's just full of trains and gangsters love trains? Because all three versions where he deals with American gangsters, except for Live and Let Die, so four times, but three times he had trains involved with these gangsters. Interesting. But that part kind of, it's not the best. That part kind of, like I said, it's just like, okay. But once again, this one I do like in the depiction of, I'm going to get their names wrong because I get them confused with um, Mr. Wit and Mr. Bib. Bib is Kids Next Door, the gay couple in this. It's mentions that they are, but then just kind of leaves it there. It doesn't really make fun of them too much, and I do appreciate that. It's kind of same in the movie. I've seen people say like, "Oh, the movie makes fun of them." Not really. It could have been a lot worse. Um, But yeah, this one surprisingly ranked higher for me at number seven. I thought it'd be a lot lower, but when I think about it, it cracked the top 10. So number seven, Diamonds. And this is where it gets rough, even more so for people. At number six is Casino Royale. I do have the book, but I do not have it on me. I don't have it on me because my grandma's currently reading it. I didn't feel like taking it from her because she may read it at night or whenever. I don't really know when she reads it, and I didn't know when I was going to film this. So I have it, but my grandma's reading it right now. Um, I have it at number six because despite me really liking, the Vesper stuff, the parts where like you get to know Bond, how he moves, how he drives, how he eats, dresses, thinks, all that I love. It's the Baccarat stuff that really drags it down. Where I think it works really well in the like actual official movie, not the other two. Um, it's better paced there, but this one's like, okay, it tells you exactly every single move every person makes, and it gets tedious. It gets real tedious real fast. Um, and I think that's the biggest thing for me. It's just like, oh my God. Like if I know as a reader, I'm not supposed to skip chapters, but I have had to do that with several times in the Bond series where it's just like, what a whole chapter on Bond, learn how to free dive. I'm like, cool. I don't really care. We have another whole chapter about him learning another card game. Cool. We're gonna have a chapter about him learning how to fly a plane or something like those kind of things. Like, okay, sure, let's move on. Um, this was a casino where it's just like, oh my God, yet another chapter about Baccarat? Okay, Jesus Christ. But like the parts that I really like, which is why I said six. I just like the other ones a bit better. And speaking of that, one that's hardest for me to place because it's kind of the same boat with Casino. To be honest, I read Casino and Live and Let Die about like a year or so ago. So some of it's not 100% fresh for me. But Live and Let Die is way up there for me because it is one of my favorite Bond movies. It's my favorite of the Roger Moore movies by a long shot. And I just have fun with it. Like, yes, it's problematic. This depiction of Harlem's not great. This depiction of black people, not great. This version is a bit better because it's like, the censored one. But if it was approved by the state, then I'm okay with that. But granted, the movie's not terrible either in that depiction. Not terrible. It's still not great, but not terrible. Its depiction of voodoo and stuff, questionable. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen American Horror Story. I've seen a lot worse. But this one's like plays it relatively like safe enough. I was like, okay, there's some um, misinformation, I'm sure, but not enough for me to be like, it's that safe zone. And we're like, okay, maybe some of this is true, probably not, but whatever. Like the sketchiest thing, and it's the sketchiest thing in the movie too, is that Solitaire loses her abilities after sleeping with Bond. Um, I think that's the sketchiest thing. But much like in the movie, the best thing this has going for it, well, other than Felix, um, is the villains. Mr. Big, fantastic. Teehee, fantastic. Baron Samedi, if his name is supposed to be Baron Samedi, beyond fantastic. Whisper, great. Every one of the villains hits in this. Um, and that's one of the rare ones. Like a lot of times, like one of the villains is still better than the others, and that's the same truth in the books and in the movies. But this surprise, I just had fun with it. This is like one of the more fun ones for me. Like all the rest are a bit more serious or a bit more like something, but this one was just really fun. So at five, Live and Let Die. At number four. Did I put number four? Did I not write down? Okay, yeah, I did. You Only Live Twice. You Only Live Twice is my favorite out of the Blofeld trilogy. Um, Yes, does it have issues? Like the whole Japanese thing, Bond becoming Japanese? Yes, that is an issue. Um, and do I have a big gripe with this at the end? Yes. Going back to what I said during the talking about Spy Who Loved Me, saying Bond tasting his own medicine in a sense of how he treats women. Uh, at the end of this, Bond gets amnesia, and the Japanese girl he was like hiding out with takes him in and takes care of him for a bit. And it's hinted that they do sleep with each other. And that's the issue, is that he has amnesia. He doesn't know who he is. He's being told he's someone else, and he sleeps with someone. And the woman like sleeps with him under the guise that he's someone else. That's still assault. That's still R word. That's not great. Um, so that's the big issue beyond the Japanese whole thing. But the Japanese thing is very interesting, nonetheless. Um, I do love this depiction of Japan. It's not very accurate at all, apparently, but still. I think the funniest thing, honestly, though, is that where Blofeld put his base near Fukuoka and um, Beppu and stuff. My brother went to like school in Japan for a little bit, and he actually the school was in Beppu, so that was actually really fun. But oh, hey, that's funny. But really, the thing that sets this so high up for me is twofold. One, it's the first bits are him, and he's still throughout dealing with the aftermath of the death of Tracy, being really depressed, like wanting to give up, kind of thing. Like that's really great. But then it's the Blofeld stuff that's awesome. I love his plan. Like his plan basically just saying like I'm gonna set up areas around the world where people will just go and kill themselves. The population decreases. I don't get blamed because well, I mean, people came out of my property. They just did that. Like him filling up this whole castle with like poisonous plants and spiders and snakes and stuff. In Japan being unfortunately Japan, where people go in and do that. It's genius and weird and cool. The fact that he walks around in a samurai outfit is really hilarious too. But the final battle's great. His death scene's the way, way, way better than how it is in which one was it? Autopsy? No. Was it Autopsy? Yes. 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 Maybe. Whichever one that he dropped him into the chimney. Um, but way better than this. I love the character work. Like I said, like his final battles with Blofeld's great. It's just a really good capstone to all that. So, number four, Live and Let Die. And the top three are the hardest for me. Because really, like, any one of them could just switch up for me. But at number three, despite me saying that I love that You Only Live Twice, my favorite Blofeld one, Your Majesty's Secret Service is number three. This one's also Blofeld. It's the middle Blofeld one. It's the one with Tracy. It is the most important Bond book and movie out of all of them. Where he falls in love, he marries her, and she dies at the end, and it still haunts him. Um, the way it's handled, the way the whole book is handled, is great. Bond learning to become a expert in uh, genealogy and pretending to be that, going to the base, all of that. Fantastic. Like this, like that's what I'm saying. It's like the top three, and you know the other two if you're aware, are so well written, so perfect Bond stories that like any one of them could be my favorite. I didn't know, like just depends on my mood. But like this one, I for some reason, it's just a step above. I know a lot of them. Um, it's really just the like his dogged determination to find Blofeld, and then just like he doesn't want to fall in love with Tracy right at first, but he does, and it still hits. Like it still has that impact that the movie does, especially since when you read "You Only Live Twice," it's I don't know. It's just one of the best ones, but there's still two ahead. And hats. Number two, From Russia with Love. From Russia with Love, much like the book, movie, is excellent. Both versions, no matter which one you read or watch, is pretty much the quintessential spy thriller. Like if I had to point anyone to a spy thriller, whether it be a book or a movie, From Russia. And that's what I would just tell them that. This is if you, like the most this spy heavy like Bond book out of all of them. Um, the combat, the tension, the following, all, like between him and the other, I forget his name, but the Russian spy. Um, I also read this one quite a while ago too. Let's see if it says it. No. But it's just so well done. Like I said, I this could be number one for me. But like I would say this. To me, this is a lot simpler instead of me stumbling on my words. Um, the movie is a pretty much one-to-one adaptation of the book. And if you vibe with the movie, you see why the movie is so good. Imagine that being written, a bit more details and a bit more tension because of said details. That should be enough for most people. Like if you love the movie, you will absolutely love the book. Um, this is like just the perfect spy novel, essentially. Like I haven't read any John le Carre, but this one. And with that, at number one, Moonraker. It's an odd choice to be number one. Maybe, maybe. I don't really know the fandom deeply enough to fully say, but this is almost like once again as like the last two, perfect. Um, his constant gambling, cheating battles with Drax is incredibly entertaining. Um, like once again, this had does the same thing that From Russia and uh, Casino did, where it goes very much into how Bond operates daily, how he eats, how he sleeps, how he dresses, how he drives, a lot on the driving, how he just moves, and all of that is incredibly interesting. Um, the his female counterpart, why can't I remember names? Brand. Great. Matches him up perfectly. Like not as good as like Tracy and a couple of the others, but like Tiffany, but still really, really good. Way better than Goodhead and the movie adaptation. I did love the movie version too. Drax is a lot better in this, where he's much more of a like um, ex-German who like his plan is much more interesting. When he's an ex-German hiding out as a British guy, and he wants revenge for losing the war, so he's gonna send a rocket to blow up London. Simple, easy, effective. Um, but Bond does have to stop it. And yes, he does not go to space in this one. But this one ends with Bond, the most injured out of all of them. Like in the next book, like he's like, oh yeah, you spent months in the hospital recovering because you almost died. Um, It's just another one. Sorry, where the tension and the descriptions and all of that all work and all hits. Um, yeah, like if I had to, it really any of the top three for me, I can recommend to anyone. Be like, read these. Like if you're gonna start with a Bond, read these. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna start with a Bond, start with Casino Royale, maybe. But like if you start with From Russia, perfect. If you start with Moonraker, also a really good start. Um, like that, like I don't know. Those are all really good starts for this. But oh, that's my list, and I'm for now sticking to it. So recap though, finally, because this one's going a little bit longer, but cool. 14, For Your Eyes Only. At number 13, Spy Who Loved Me. Number 12 is Thunderball. Number 11, Octopussy and the Living Daylights. At number 10, The Man with the Golden Gun. At number 9, Goldfinger. Number 8, Dr. No. At number 7, Diamonds Are Forever. Number 6, Casino Royale. Number 5, Live and Let Die. Number 4, You Only Live Twice. Number 3, On Her, sorry, On Her Majesty's Secret Service. Number 2, From Russia with Love. And number 1, Moonraker. But like I said, the top 3, interchangeable. Depending on my mood, if I reread them at some point, which I probably will, they will probably change. But that is my list. For those who have read the Bond books or have read some of them, please let me know which ones you would change, where you would put things, which ones you totally disagree with me on, which ones you agree with me on. Let's talk about. But until then, see ya.